So, so once we have our basics, then we can go into style and what we actually like to draw. So this main structure you can adapt to draw any character, and again, depending on the proportions, you can make it look younger. So let's say I want to draw a younger character. So we keep this to the side here, and now we're drawing a younger character, right? So the head is going to be a bit bigger, the face will be a bit smaller. So that means the line of the eyes will be lower in the head, and the nose and the mouth are a bit smaller and lower. And then the jaw is not so strong, it's a bit softer. Right, and the nose is a bit lower, the mouth is smaller and lower. The eyes can be bigger, of course. The ears are placed similarly, but they can be a bit bigger maybe, to make it show that it's a kid. The hairline can be the same proportion from the eyes to the nose is from the hairline, can be here. So now you can see this is a kid character, right? And this is an adult character. And then you can start to go into specifics. Okay, maybe let's say we're drawing the same character, so it's a boy, and then he grows up to be a man. So it's the same character, so we don't do anything super different. We can even keep the same hairstyle, but we adapt it to the age. So let's say we can make a very standard manga hair with a fringe. Then maybe a little bit of hair going up like this on the top. And then some hair here next to the ears. And then we can go into detail with the eyes a little bit. So when you're drawing eyes, it's important to understand how the eyes work if you want to make it a bit more realistic. So for example, let's say when you're working on the iris, so the colored part of the eye, where the color is, you can make it look like it's looking a little bit up, right? Because it's a boy, so that means he's not very tall. So it will be looking up at other people that are taller. So that means you leave a bit of space here on the lower eyelid, so that it shows that it's looking up. And you don't like overdo it with mascara, because it's a boy, it's not a girl. But you know, some boys wear mascara. It is what it is. But for most kids don't wear makeup, so you don't go overboard with the lines here on top. And when it comes to the iris, if you want to understand how the eye works and how the light works in the eye and why it looks like that, I can explain to you with this like small sketch really quick. Let's see if I can. Yeah. So imagine this is an eye seen from the side. So you're looking at people from the side, right? So you have the iris here. This is the colored part, right? And this is the white of the eye. But it's not flat. So imagine it's like a plate that has a bit of depth. So that means this iris is actually like this in the section if you cut it from the side. So this is where the pupil is, which is the black part of the eye, where the light goes into the eye. So this is black here. And this is color, the iris. So because it has this interesting shape, what happens, because it has this shape, so this is the black part of the eye, and this is the color, the iris, right? So because it has this shape, when you look at it from front view, you will see this. You will see it has this black dot here. This is the pupil, right? And this is the color part. But because it's in an angle, and because here you have the transparent part, kind of like made of glass almost, the light, if it comes from here, you will have a light speck here, like a very bright point. but here it will be shadow because the light is coming from this side, right? So when you're drawing an eye, if you want to make it really good, the simplest way is to put like a specular highlight here, like this, and then you make the shadow here, and then you let the shadow be a bit loose, like a bit brighter down here, because the light is bouncing back here. So there is light here on this side, but there is shadow here. So if you look at all the mangas that are drawn realistically and they're drawn well, you will see that this is a common thing. Of course, this can be to the left, this bright spot, this specular highlight can be to the left or to the right, but to keep it simple, we can have it in the middle. So if you're doing this, your eyes will always look realistic and good and correct. Of course, you can get creative and you can do stuff like, let's say you can put, instead of a round specular, you can put like a little star or yeah, some lines, you know. But you need to remember that the black pupil, that's the darkest, it's in the middle. And then you go dark on top, so shadow on top, and then you go light down. And it will always look good. Yeah, so if you remember these steps when you're drawing an eye, it will look nice. So going back to our boy, now we can stop here with the boy. We have some styling starting, and the neck can be a bit thinner. Of course, it's a young boy, right? And depending on how tall the neck is, you can show if the boy is tall or short. So like if it's a short boy, then you do the shoulders up, you do the shoulders here. But if it's a tall boy that goes swimming or basketball or something, then you start with the shoulders lower. So now this shows it's a yeah, sorry. So that if the shoulders are down, it looks like the neck is long, so it looks like the boy is taller, right? So if the shoulders are here, then it gives the impression that it's short. It's a short boy. And now if we move to the man, so the head is a bit smaller compared to the face, because the face grown more than the skull. And when we're doing the hair, maybe the hair it's a bit more. It's a similar hairstyle to the boy, but it's a bit more preppy. So let's say we don't put this thing up, we make it a little bit more nice, right? So maybe it's a bit shorter on this side. Maybe here it's like short, and then it goes to the side or something like that. It's a bit more asymmetrical, right? And because it's an older boy, then the eyes are a bit smaller, and they're a bit more closed. So the lower eyelid goes a bit higher than we have in the younger boy. And you can make like a generic expression. And when it comes to the mouth can be a bit bigger, of course. And depending on how realistic you want to draw the style of the character, you can add more details to the eyes and mouth. But some people just like put a dot or a line when it comes to the nose, so they don't go too much into detail. And because this is an older boy, so it's an adult, the neck is thicker now, right? So the neck starts almost at the angle of the jaw. So it shows us that this is a stronger muscular character. And of course, if you also study anatomy, you can break this down into simple volumes, like the neck is a cylinder, right? Or you can imagine as a bucket. but it's not exactly like a perfect cylinder. Imagine it's a bucket with the smaller end down. So it's actually thinner on the lower side and thicker on the upper side, because you have these two muscles here that are connecting your head to your neck, to the base of your neck. So this looks a bit more realistic. But then you have some other muscles here that come and connect your neck to the shoulders. Yeah, so at this point you can, like, if you want to use different tools, like you can get a darker tool like a pen brush or a marker, and you can go into, let's say, more cleaner line work on top, because now you already have the basics. So you can go into styling if you want to have a specific style for this character. So we can continue with the man. And it's best when you're drawing if you just go with one line and you don't go like repeating over it, because like it's better to have, let's say, a not so good drawing now, but the next time when you're drawing it's going to be better, and the next time better, next time better. So it's better to not, go over your line. Just try to be confident. Even if you do a mistake, it's fine. Next time it won't be such a big mistake. It will be a smaller mistake, and so on. For the nose, if we keep it a bit more realistic, we could do something like this. And for the mouth, something in the opposite direction. Adjusting the lips here just a little bit. And depending on like how realistic you want to make the character, you can make the chin sharper or softer. So I like to go a bit more, let's say, half realistic, so I make it a bit more rounder. And of course you can go back to the line, and if you want you can like make it thicker in some parts if you need to make a point and like, hey, this is a thicker line here. And now we're going to use what we learned with the eyes, the iris, right? So let's say we can make the specular to the left side, and then we can mark the pupil in the middle of the eye. And if we want, we can just leave it at that. Thicken the upper eyelid a bit. And then maybe do some eyebrows. And continue with the hair. And if we make the hair short here, we can make it like this. Then the ears, we don't need to go that much into detail, just like suggesting the shapes. So this is how we could draw a boy with a more, like, let's say, modern hairstyle. And then if we go back to the younger boy, we can do the details on this one. You can start from outside in, so you can start from the outline of the hair. And go to the ears then. And the hair near the ears, and then the eyes, so it's good to vary a little bit what kind of lines you're using. So for example, I used an arched line on top for the eyes, and then on the side I'm using a straight line. So a bit of variation is good. Low, you can go round a little bit rounded again. And now for the eyes, again they need to be bigger because this is a younger character, and you can make the eyes be a little bit asymmetrical. That's fine. When the kids look to something that's very close to them, then the distance between the inside of the eye and the outside of the eye is a bit smaller. Or if they're looking very far away, then the eyes are straight, are kind of like this. And we can make this eyes a little bit more dreamy. Let's say we can use a star for the highlight. And a big pupil in the middle. Then the hair. Then a little line for the nose. One for the mouth. And then the jaw. The neck. And the shoulders. So this is how you draw a boy, like a quick sketch. I can leave the camera on a little bit if you guys need to finish up. And then we can have a little break and draw something else.